I can say I've been on film. I can brag.
You've lived in Fulham for quite a few years now.
I lived in Fulham when I was born.
Yeah.
And yes, born there, bred there. I've never moved out of Fulham. This is it. I was just born in Fulham. A Fulhamite, as you might call me.
Fulhamite, like that.
As we're called Fulhamites. Who are you? I'm a Fulhamite because I lived and bred in Fulham.
What's changed the most?
Not a lot.
No?
What's changed the most
Yeah.
is that all the nice shops have gone, the pubs have gone. Neighbourly people are not as the same as they were when I was young, and it's not quite as good as it was in my young days.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in there. When you said people aren't as neighbourly, what was different with the community when you were younger?
What was different? What brought people together more?
And what difference in neighbourly?
Yeah.
Why I am saying the difference, we could always leave our door open,
Oh, yeah.
and if we needed something, we just walked into our neighbour, called their name now, and they'd come and help us to whatever it was we wanted. If I hadn't got it and they've got it, we would share. And when we were little, our entertainment down the street was a merry-go-round, and they'd bring it down with a horse would bring the cart down.
Oh, yeah.
And to get on the merry-go-round, we used to have to go and get a jam jar, because we'd get a penny for a jam jar if it was empty and took it to the shop. That's all we had to do. And our neighbours all looked after one another's children when they were out in the streets. You can't do that now. Everybody's at work. And neighbours now, they're very nice, but they all seem to shut their door, don't want to mix. And that is making it very lonely for most people, more so elderly people.
Yeah.
I used to love going to the shop and going around the departmental stores and looking around, going and have a cup of tea. You'll always find somebody to have a little chat to. And you say to them, have you seen that in the shop? That's good, that's cheap. Come and have a look. We haven't got anything like that anymore. I go out to the shops, it's supermarkets, food, food, food. And there's nothing else that you can go into. Unless you're fortunate enough to go uptown. Most old people can't go uptown. But failing that, no, it's changed. I must say, not always for the better. But that's only through old people. So you young ones, you don't know no difference. You're going to be brought up with all this electronics. You've got to know it. We didn't know nothing like that. I can't use it because I don't know how to. I could do if I put my mind to it. I don't want to start struggling at 99 to learn this and learn that. So, yes, it has changed, not always for the better.
So
Any more questions?
where do you come in the 10? Your brothers and sisters?
I was the ninth.
Ninth.
I was ninth, and 6 years after that, my brother was born.
Wow.
He was the 10th. There was 6 years between me and my brother, which they all thought I was going to be the baby. And I weren't. Another one popped out.
Surprise came along.
So, yes, and it was lovely, but only in a very small flat. We all used to have to get in where we could. And couldn't move to a bigger flat because my mother couldn't afford the rent. You didn't get help in them days like you get today.
Do you remember where you were when the war? You found out
I
it was
do
ended?
remember where I was.
And it was finished?
I was down hot picking.
Were you?
And that's another little story.
Yeah, go on.
On the night before war was declared, on the Friday night actually, and the war was declared on the Sunday. On that Friday night, we were all going down hot picking. Well, you had to take everything, all your bedding, your clothes, your pots, everything. And there was used to be a greengrocer's shop at the top of our street, and he was going to take us down when the shop closed. So there was my mum and all of us, 2 or 3 other neighbours that also went up picking, and a big dog. And we all piled in the back of the van, and this is it, after the shops closed. This was about 7 o'clock on a Friday night. And we're jogging along, but we got to Peckham, and the battery gave out. So, bit of fun really. We had to get out, stand in the doorway and keep shouting, because it was the first night of the blackout as well. And we had to keep shouting, keep to the left, because they couldn't see us. We had no red torches that was coming out after. So, and because the driver had to come back to Fulham, get another battery, come back. So that was taking us till the early hours of the morning. So he did it. We got down to Kent to pick these hops, and he drove in a farmyard. He took the wrong turning. We got stuck in the mud. You can imagine. Great fun in the end. But we managed to get there and stay there. Well, that was Friday night. Sunday morning, they came round from the local council to take all our names, and they gave us an ID number, and I still remember that number. DJLB 2032. That was my ID number. I was given a little blue card. That was it on that card. You couldn't go anywhere without that. So I was registered down in Kent the day war broke out, and that was on the 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning on the 3rd of September. That's when war broke out, and that's where I was. So we came home then with war was on. Didn't know much about it for about 6 months. And then they came round and had taken all our railings away, because the iron, all the old saucepans we had, whatever they could get hold of, because we were really, really well behind in preparing for this war. We didn't have the equipment. So we had no railings, any pots or pans, because we used to mend a pot if you had a hole in it. You used to go to the shop, and they used to sell you a round piece of metal with a screw in it. Put that screw in the hole, screw it down. So that sealed that hole, you could carry on using your pot. But during the war, they was asking for them, so we had to give our old pots up. Which you look back and you think, what could that do? But that did a lot of good, really. At the end of the war...
No, in the war, at the start, you were evacuated, weren't
I
you?
was evacuated.
Were you evacuated with your siblings?
No, only the young one, Reggie.
The young one.
All the others was in the army or married.
Oh, wow.
There was just me and Reg, and my mother took us away with my another sister of mine. She came with her 2 children. Sister-in-law came with another child, and we just went away. Didn't know where we were going, because you knew there was somebody there always to help you. We just got on a train and went to this place that we called Newport Pagnell, which is still around, and had nowhere to go. And we went to the vicarage in the end when we got there, and the vicar found us all a place for one night, dotted around. And we met up the next morning, my mother and my sister and sister-in-law, myself, and thought, oh, we've got to go home. You can't do this. But we didn't. The vicar found us a place. My mother knocked it. This is what I'm trying to impress upon people, how good they were. My mother knocked at this lady's door, which she was told, you'd go over and knock at that lady's door, and asked, does she know of anybody with a room, a flat, a house? And as she opened the door, my mother asked her, and she called her daughter, she said, give the lady the keys to your place. And the daughter just came out and gave us the keys. And that's what it was like in them days, more so the war years.
Yeah.
And all it was a 2 up and 2 down. That 2 up and 2 down was heaven. We had no bombs, no raids, and I lived there for over 2.5 years. But we all lived there then. But happy, happy years. Not for most people, but for me and our family, it was really happy days. We blended in with the people we didn't know, and they accepted us, which was lovely. And I always felt I'd love to have gone back and given them something for what they did for us, because they were very, very kind.
Do you remember their names?
Mrs. I'll come to it. That'll be after you put the phone down, the thing down. No, they accepted us. First night we were there, then some lady brought in a gramophone, and she haven't got the needles, but I'm going to try and get you them. You know, the horn. So it's something for you to listen to, old records. But that was lovely. I mean, no television, no radios. We just had to sit round and talk. But as time went on, you managed to get hold of them. And I worked, and my sisters worked, and yeah, we had a great time. Some pleasant memories for the war.
You got married during the war, didn't you?
I got married during the war in 1943.
It's quite an interesting wedding, wasn't it? 'Cause
It
of
was
the
very
rations.
interesting because we didn't have no caterers, no halls.
No.
All we had for our wedding breakfast, as they call it, was a pot of boiled potatoes, some salad and cold meat. That was the wedding breakfast. Couldn't get nothing else.
Any cake?
A cake, a lady down where I lived, she was the manageress of a bakery called Hemmings. And she said, please don't tell anybody, but I'll try and get you a wedding cake made. 1 tier. And she did that, but I couldn't tell anybody where I got it from, because it was nasty for her. She would have got the sack, because she asked the baker to make it for me. So that was my wedding cake. And when I booked a car to take me to the church, the car never turned up. So my brother-in-law had to go round the church, and bear in mind, there were 7 bridesmaids walking behind me. Oh, no way. My mother said, you've got to walk. I said, no way, I am not walking. And my brother went round the church, and there was a car outside waiting for the wedding that was going on inside the church. So he said to the driver, or chauffeur as we should call them, please would you come round and take my sister-in-law, bring her back here? Oh, he said, no, he said, it won't be a minute. Come on then. Well, you've heard of Keystone Cops, haven't you?
No.
Well, they were cops years ago, the coppers. They were in the cars, and if they were going along and want somebody quick, they would stand on we had a board, a foot, I don't know what you call them now.
Running board. It was a running board.
Running board. And my brother-in-law was on the running board, holding on into the windows and directing the driver around to where I lived to get me just to the church on time. And then I had to wait, and he brought me back. So, yeah, it was a wedding to remember. And that was it. But it lasted till Grandad died. Grandad was 49 years married to me when he died. So, albeit no cars, and you had to drink, you could hardly get any drink. But we managed, and we had good times. But going back to my days of evacuation, there were so many of us there in this little cottage. that I forgot to mention that the leg of the bed came through the ceiling. Because there was so many of us in that bed. We wondered if the four legs would have gone through, would I be here telling the tale? I don't know.
So where did you meet Grandad?
I met Grandad through my brother, Uncle George. They both worked at the Army and Navy stores. What's the Carmen they used to call them in them days, in delivering. And they also belonged to a cycling club, the pair of them. And they used to meet at my mum's house, flat rather, Saturday night after they'd finished work at 9 o'clock. They'd go home and get their tents and their bits and bobs, and they'd all meet at my mum's place. And they'd be about 4 or 5 men with their bikes and one lady, Olive, and she used to go camping with them. Well, he did that nearly every Saturday night. And of course, me, I was there and I wanted to go. Well, I couldn't go. But as time went on, and I got that bit older, and well, I'm here today to tell the tale of how I got with Grandad. We just, after the war, he came back, and that's before the war. While the war was on, he came, he used to come and we used to go out and in the blackout and what have you. And before we were married, this was, and one particular night he was on leave and we were out in the blackout and he walked right into a lamppost. And he ended up with a nasty face, but we couldn't see the post, we couldn't see the lamppost. So anyway, that was how I met Grandad, by him coming round to my mum's every Saturday night to go camping with my brother and the rest of the club that were there, which is very nice, very nice.
Did you ever learn to ride a bike yourself?
Sorry?
Did you ever learn to ride a bike yourself?
Did ever I ride a bike?
Did you ever learn, if Grandad was in a cycling club, did you ever go cycling?
They wouldn't have me. No, I wasn't old enough. I wanted to go. No, you're not old enough yet. Because Grandad was 4 years older than me, so yeah, I weren't old enough. So, but it didn't stop me. And I still can't ride a bike. Only straight.
Still time.
Only straight. Can't turn corners.
No.
No, I'd have to get off and turn the bike round.
What happened when you went hot picking?
What happened when we went hot?
Yeah.
Well, when you go hot picking, you're all allowed. They'll allocate you a hut. And there was like a, excuse me, like a bathing hut, you know, just like a bathing hut. And they'd put a lot of straw in that. And you take your own bed in, or your own bed clothes and what have you. And you made your bed up with the straw and faggots, as they're called. That's bundles of twigs, big bundles of twigs. So you put them down, put the straw on the top, and then you fill a mattress cover with straw. Put that on the top of that. Your pillows were all done of straw. They dug in your ears, the straw. And pillows were made of straw. And then at night we'd all get into bed, some at the top, some at the bottom. Get your feet out of the way, they're in my face and all that. It's great fun though. And then we'd get up in the morning, early in the morning, and go and pick the hops. And it used to be very, very frosty, cold. So you went to the field, and in the field, it was a thing called the bins. And there were crosses each like that of wood with a sack attached to the other side. And you just sit there and pull the vine down, pick the hops, no leaves, mustn't have leaves in them. Then the man would come round and measure them hops in bushel baskets. You put it, and then they'd put it in a poke, in a big sack. And you were paid 7 of those bushel baskets you got a shilling for. So you really had to work hard. But we loved it. Just sit there with your lunch, piece of bread and cheese, and a tea that was made in a wooden can over a fire fill the can up with water, put the tea leaves in. We knew no different. We did that for 3 weeks. Come home, and if you earned £4, you were well off.
You
Yeah.
took Nanny, Ray and John?
Well, I didn't have them at first, but then when I got married,
Yeah.
I did go, and I did take Ray and John and Christine. Christine liked it, but not as much as the boys.
No?
For the reasons to be, the boys could get on the wagon,
Ah.
and they'd had the pokes all piled up with the ox that had been taken out of your bin.
Mm.
And the boys used to sit up there with a wagoner. Loved it.
What was it like having a family in London, and as they've grown up, were you, because you'd have been a mum to start with, and then were you always working?
I've worked from, let me think, I think I worked early morning cleaning. That was the only job I could do, so somebody could mind the children, which my mum used to get up early, because we lived near one another. And she'd come down and sit up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, watch the children while I used to go out. Well, they started off with one, which was Dad and John. Then when I had 2, but I did that. The only way we had to do it, we needed money. We needed money, and to go to work during the day and pay somebody to mind these children, it weren't worth you going to work. But then my mum came down, she'd sit there with a cup of tea, just listen out for the children. I'd get back indoors about 10:30, 11 o'clock, then she'd go home, and then I'd take over from there. And we just needed the money, and to get that money, that's what we did. You know, a bit of hard up days, really. Ain't done much harm, though, has it? When you look around. In fact, I think sometimes it's good. It's good because you know what you've got to do to earn a living. Today, they expect it given to them. They're not at work, got no money. Not their fault. But that weren't us. We had to go out and work and do it, even single, married, whatever. If you wanted it, go and work for it. So, yeah, I worked from, 40-odd years straight off. That's how I managed to get a little pension, because I worked 40 years. Paid a stamp for 40 years, and that stamp was 4p a week. And it covered you for an accident. Covered you for accidents. That's all you paid. Bit different now.
Yeah.
Lot different. Some days are the better today, and some days they're not. So, take the rough with the smooth. I've seen the bad times. I've seen the good times. Now I'm. What do I say? I'm reaping the harvest now. Sitting back and enjoying all what's coming my way.
You're picking the hops.
That would be nice, picking hops. I'd love that. I remember going, Claire took me down to Whitbread's one. I don't know if they still do it. They used to have a day for showing their wares, you know. They used to. Do they still do that? Well, they used to grow a couple of rows of hops, and they'd put a bin there, and anybody could go up and pick them. Well, I was standing there picking, because that was in my glory. I loved picking. And I never found out, but somebody with a camera come and stood by the side of me. Said, "We've been watching you. You really know how to do this, and you're enjoying it." I wouldn't even look up. I said, "Yeah, I do. I'm in my element. I know we've watched you. Do you mind if we film you?" And I said, "No." That day to this, I don't know who they were. Don't know. Normally they would say we're from a magazine, a paper. Didn't know, but all I know is I was glorying in it. And it took me back many years, standing there, just picking these hops. I loved it. But wherever my photo ended up, I do not know. Still don't know. Maybe they didn't even use it. I don't know.
Maybe it's just a personal thing. They were just so amazed.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, it was lovely. I didn't even look up at them. I was too busy doing this. And I can see you're used to it. Yeah, I am. Love it. Do you mind if we take your picture? No, that's fine. I didn't know who that was, and still don't know.
You watched your family grow and grow. And get
Oh,
together.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. But, watching your kids have kids and then them have kids, what's that
A
sort of
lovely
taught you?
feeling.
What's that taught you about sort of
Yeah.
being a mother?
Being a mother,
Yeah.
it's lovely. For those who can't be a mother, it's sad. Yeah, it's hard. You have your hard times. You have your moments where you think, but they bring love. Your children bring love. They don't have to bring anything else, and you give them love. And that's all this is all about. I'm never going to manage. You do manage. You get by with a little help from your own family. So your mum and dad are going through this now. Watching you grow, watching you get to uni. We didn't have so much university in them days. It was all grammar schools and what have you. If your school thought you was right for whatever, which they were with Christine, because they wanted her to get to this certain school, this Godolphin, and she didn't want to go. And we said, well, we can't make her go. But the teacher said, they're so different then. The teacher said, leave her with me, you go outside. By the time she came out, she changed her mind. She's going to this Godolphin school. So we didn't have... That was pressure, but not the pressure Mum and Dad's got with the likes of you. There's opportunities if your children want to take them. If they don't want to take them, that's not what you can't do no more. It's you've got to do it. So put your back into it, my dear. Get cracking.
I've got a question. So you're talking about the kids, but in 99 years, what's your proudest achievement?
What, in my 99
When
years?
you're 99, what have you've lived a century?
What's my proudest part of my 99 years?
Yeah, what one thing that you say?
Well, all I can say, we didn't do anything to make us proud. All I am proud of, that I brought the family up my and my husband brought the family, George, brought the family up the way we wanted them to be. No problems, hard working, and you stand back and look and say, I'm proud of that. And that's what that is. And you're going to feel the same with James and Ethan. If they get to do what they set out to do, that's your proudest moment. You feel you've done something. That was me. So, when the teacher said, she's the first child, Christine rather, that we've got to this certain school in so many years, and our pupils would give their right arm to be in her position. So I thought, well, that's good. And we worked hard to make sure, like you've got to do, or are doing, that they've got all the equipment around them to help them. Someone said, oh, you want hockey boots, these boots, that shoe, tennis rackets. You get there. You find it, you get there. They're your proudest moments. I've done it. So I know that you're going to have that feeling when it comes with James and Ethan. Whatever it is he's going to set out to do, you can do it, and you just got to tell yourself you can do it. If you put everything you've got into learning, trying, and it don't come out how you'd like it, you must always say to yourself, I tried. As long as I've tried, there's nothing more I can do. That will make Mum and Dad still as proud. Because they know you've tried. You can't put something there that won't come out. So I don't know if I've made myself clear on that one.
Very clear.
Very clear.
100%.
So, well, was that good?
You was that good.
Sorry?
You was that good.
Good. Well, it's all true. It's all true, isn't it? Really. You know, we got nothing. I've got nothing, but I'm proud of what I've done to do. Let them do something. So, just a little thing in. Yeah.